Look at them. One in a living room, one in a sunlit meadow. But watch the crouch. Oliver, an orange tabby, springs onto a toy mouse, claws snagging fabric, not flesh. And Ridge, a wild bobcat, snatches a vole with surgical precision, dust bursting around her. He shakes the toy, proud. His tail flicks. All he's missing is the blood on his muzzle. She doesn't play. Every kill is a meal that might mean survival until the next sunrise. So, why does the same ancient instinct live inside them both? Oliver wears a collar. His biggest threat is a dead battery in the automatic feeder. Ridge patrols a valley of stone and pine. One wrong step and her cubs go hungry. But look into their eyes when they hunt. Dilated, unblinking. The wiring is identical. The difference isn't in their blood. It's in the world that shaped them. And we're about to see how. In a sunlit living room filled with the scent of lilac, Oliver stretched across the rug, king of his small, soft kingdom.
There's my fierce hunter. Did you catch any dust bunnies for me this time? She rubs my ears and calls me lazy. But the dreams are maps of forests I've never smelled.
But when a sparrow fluttered onto the sill, Oliver's spine coiled into a loaded spring.
There, feathers and heartbeat. My claws ache with a memory written before I was born.
His eyes locked, pupils blown wide, while his tail flicked like a second heartbeat.
Oliver, you are doing that thing again, staring like you want to eat the robin.
The window was cracked open a finger's width. A ribbon of outside air curled around his whiskers.
That gap is an invitation. Beyond it, the rules are not written by humans.
And for the first time, Oliver's legs bunched to move, driven by a force older than any color. While Oliver debated a cracked window, Ridge scaled a windswept ridge overlooking the valley she called home. 12 square miles of pine and riverbed, defended with tooth and scent, measured in blood.
Every dawn patrol is a promise. One missed scent, and my cubs pay the price.
She dropped into the tall grass, muscles silent as water, tracking a vole by the twitch of a blade.
The vole's heart beats against the ground. Mine answers in perfect rhythm.
The pounce was perfection. A sharp crack, a final twitch, and then silence.
I eat last. The cubs come first.
She scraped claws against a lightning-scarred pine, leaving a message only another bobcat would understand. This kingdom is taken, but a new scent clung to the northern boundary. Boot leather and sweat. Humans were pushing closer.
They leave trails that cut the earth. Soon, they'll want my valley too. I'll be watching.
Before Oliver ever batted a toy, before Ridge spilled a drop of vole blood on her whiskers, there was a single ancestor, Pro-Aeluris, a small, tree-dwelling hunter with a flexible body and a sharp mind 8 million years ago. Look at their skeletons now. Oliver and Ridge, side by side. You could swap the labels. 95% of their DNA is identical. The same blueprint that builds a silent predator. 8 million years sculpted these two forms. Barely 10,000 years separated house cat from wild hunter. That's a blink in evolutionary time. 10,000 years. A whisper. So the question isn't why they look alike. It's why they don't look even more alike. Size, ear tufts, a shortened tail. These are surface edits on the same ancient manuscript. The real story isn't in their bones. It's in the wild moments that led each to their separate worlds. And that split began with a bold step into a human's grain store. 10,000 years ago. 10,000 years ago, a wildcat slipped into an Egyptian grain store. Drawn by the chatter of mice, it walked out fed, and a pact was sealed. Protection for pest control. Over millennia, those cats shrank in size but not in instinct. The house cat was born. Meanwhile, the bobcat's ancestors kept the forest where every meal was a gamble and every night a trial. Fast forward to a suburban evening. Sarah, balancing bags, didn't see the latch fail.
The gap calls to me. It smells of wet grass and secrets.
He hesitated for one breath. Then his orange fur dissolved into the twilight.
This is freedom. No hand, no door, No clock ticking the hours.
The door clicked shut behind him, sealing the house away. In the moonlit yard, Oliver stood frozen, every hair erect, a house cat in a world that didn't care. He took a step, and the dry leaves crunched like tiny bones under his soft pads.
Every rustle is a threat. The cold ground bites, and the wind carries so many warnings.
But the scents pulled him deeper. Wet earth, distant wood smoke, and the sharp tang of a rival tomcat. Miles away, Ridge heard it. The rhythmic crunch of boots on a forest path.
Human. Too close to the den. My cubs are hidden, but my scent could lead them straight here.
She melted into the ferns, a ghost in a spotted coat as a hiker passed inches away.
They never look down, but each new trail they carve is a scar that never heals.
In the yard, Oliver crouched at a trembling blade of grass. Something soft and warm was breathing just beyond.
I know this. The crouch, the stillness. My body remembers what my mind never learned.
He sprang, a blur of orange instinct, but his claws met only dirt. The mouse was already gone. Oliver stared at the empty grass, the mouse's warmth already a memory that tasted like failure.
I was too loud, too slow. My muscles knew the shape but forgot the timing.
Miles away, Ridge's pounce was a single fluid stroke, ending with a clean snap of vole bone.
Before my eyes found it, my body already knew the distance. The vole never had a chance.
She devoured the prize in seconds, not out of hunger, but because nothing in the wild is certain. Look at these two hunters. One trained by a feather wand, the other by an empty belly. Oliver had the wiring, the same ancient code, but instinct without practice is a dull claw.
This hunger is new. It sharpens something inside me. Next time, I won't miss.
Ridge's muscle memory was forged over 1,000 dawns, where every misstep meant a cub went hungry. One learned in a week of failed ambushes, the other in a lifetime of life or death moments. But the sky had other plans. Dark clouds swallowed the moon, and the first thunderclap split the night. In the yard, Oliver flinched as cold rain punctured his fur, each drop a small electric shock.
The house is locked. No window is open. This rain isn't a warm shower from a human tap.
Miles away, Ridge felt the pressure drop in her bones and grabbed her cub by the scruff.
The stream is rising. Our den is a death trap within the hour.
Oliver sprinted blindly across the wet grass, every instinct screaming for cover that didn't exist.
The garden shed. Old wood. A loose board. Maybe.
Ridge splashed through brown water, her cub dangling limp in her teeth, heading for higher ground.
There's a human cabin in the next valley. I swore I'd never go there, but swearing won't save my cub.
Two cats, worlds apart, driven by the same ancient wiring, survived the storm. Oliver reached the shed, heart hammering, and pressed his nose to the rotting wood.
The rain is drowning me. If I don't find a crack, I won't breathe.
He clawed at the warped door, splinters biting his pads, but the lock held firm.
There, a loose board near the ground, just like the gap under the porch at home.
Meanwhile, Ridge crested the ridge and saw the cabin lights flickering below, small and steady through the downpour.
Wood and nails. A human den. My mother never taught me this choice.
But her cub shivered against her side, a tiny tremor that decided everything.
Warmth. Dry ground. That's all that matters. We go.
She began the careful descent, each step a balance between speed and the silence her life depended on. Two cats, separated by miles and millennia, now both pressing toward the same ancient answer, shelter with the two-legged ones. Oliver spotted the loose board and wedged his wet shoulder against it, muscle memory from 100 knocked-over vases.
It's just like the gap under the porch at home. I know this shape.
He squirmed through, rain slicked his fur, and tumbled onto a dusty floor, the storm suddenly muffled.
Dark, dry, a roof. I am safe.
At the cabin, Ridge heard a heavy step inside and pressed her cub deeper into the mud, every muscle a coiled warning.
A human is awake in there. If the door opens, this dirt is our only shield.
She crept forward, nose testing the air for smoke and sweat, then slid under the low boards, into the dry haven beneath.
The rain can't reach us here. Neither can the wind. This shadow is enough.
The cub mewed once, a tiny shivering sound, and Ridge wrapped herself around it, purring low, a lullaby against the storm's rage. 2 cats, worlds apart, now crouched in borrowed dens, the storm beating against walls they did not build. Inside the shed, Oliver's eyes slowly pulled the dark apart, revealing a world of shadows and dust.
A heartbeat, not mine. A tiny drumming under the floorboards.
A mouse emerged, blind to the predator, searching for a crumb that didn't exist. Oliver sank lower, weightless, his pupils black moons. Every failed pounce in the yard had taught him this silence.
Now, the distance is perfect. My body knows.
He exploded forward, a blur of orange fury. The mouse squealed once, then silence. Blood warm on his tongue, tiny bones cracking between his teeth. Oliver had never known this taste.
This is not a toy. This is a secret my ancestors kept from me. I am not just a house cat.
The same ancient circuitry fired in his brain as in Ridge's the dopamine of the kill, unchanged by 10,000 years. In this moment, Oliver was no longer a pet. He was the hunter etched into his DNA, and the line between wild and tame had vanished. Inside the cabin, a chair scraped the floor. The hunter rose, drawn to a faint scratching beneath the porch.
He heard us. The floorboards carry every sound. Do I freeze or flee?
The cabin door creaked open. A beam of flashlight cut the rain, sweeping over the mud inches from Ridge's nose.
Don't breathe. He's looking right at us, but the rain blinds him.
The hunter grunted, blaming the storm for noise, and slammed the door shut, leaving the night to the rain.
I should run, but my cub is still shivering, too weak for another mile in these woods.
She settled deeper into the mud, folding her body over her cub, her low growl a promise to stand her ground.
I never thought I'd trust human walls, but tonight, they're better than a flooded den.
For the first time in her life, Ridge chose not to flee. She had never chosen a human's shadow before, but the wildest instinct isn't to fight or run. It's to do whatever it takes to keep the small heart beside you beating. In the shed, Oliver licked the last warmth from his whiskers, the mouse's bones a small, sharp trophy on the dusty floor. Under the porch, Ridge purred against her cub's damp fur, a low, steady hum that was older than the forest. He didn't know the word hunter. She didn't know mother, but their blood sang the same ancient song.
I hunt, therefore I am. The house, the bowl, the hand, they were never the point. I protect. So we live. The valley, the scent marks, they are just lines. This small heartbeat is my true territory.
One in a dusty shed, one under a porch, but the same ancient code, written 8 million years before either took a breath. Oliver had chased a plastic toy 1,000 times. Tonight he'd taken a life, and the two felt nothing alike. Ridge had chosen a hunter's porch, not the wild den she'd known, and the choice felt less like surrender than a new kind of strength. So the question isn't why they look alike anymore. It's why we ever thought the wild could be so easily separated from the tame. But the night was not over, and the real decisions were still waiting on the other side of the dawn. Dawn bled through the shed's cracks, painting the dust gold, and Oliver crept back toward the board he'd loosened. His house stood across the wet grass, window dark, door shut, a silent fortress of cushions and kibble.
Home. Warm lap, soft rug, the clicking of the heater. Sarah's voice. I know every sound there, but out here, the air tastes different. The mice don't squeak with a bell inside. They're real, and so am I.
He took one step toward the house, then stopped. The shed behind him held a dead mouse and a version of himself he'd only just met.
If I go back, I'll be a pet again. If I stay, I might never hear her voice. What am I, if not hers?
A bird landed on the fence, and his hunter's reflex locked in. A twitch of the tail, forgotten for a moment.
That's not training. That's memory from a million dawns. I can't just lock it away again.
Oliver stood at the edge of the grass, the house on one side, the whole wild world on the other, and for the first time, the choice was entirely his. But the sun was climbing, and somewhere inside that house, Sarah was waking up to an empty rug. Ridge slipped from under the porch, leaving her cub in the safety of the shadows. She followed the flood's scars to the lightning-scarred pine. What she found was a cage of broken branches.
The rocks crumbled. Every scent says the same. Our home is dead. The stream killed it.
She stood among the wreckage, scanning the forest. The cub needed shelter now, but every safe hollow was a full day's trek.
There's bear sign on the ridge and coyote tracks by the water. No den in this forest is safe tonight.
Then her eyes caught the cabin's chimney smoke twisting above the tree line. The answer was already there.
The human didn't attack. The porch kept us dry. I can hate his land and still let it save my cub.
She turned from the wreckage and padded back, not beaten, but with the survival math of a mother who had run out of choices. She reached the porch, nudged her cub awake, and guided it deeper into the dry dirt beneath the cabin. Then she curled around it, her amber eyes fixed on the cabin door, ready for whatever came next. The sun broke fully over the rooftops, and Oliver felt the weight of the dead mouse in his mind like a key.
I am going home, but not empty-pawed. She needs to know what I found out here.
He trotted across the wet grass, the mouse's still body a trophy of a night that had changed everything. At the doorstep, he paused, then laid the mouse on the mat with the gentleness of an offering.
This is for her, to show that I am not just a soft thing. I am a hunter who chooses her hearth.
Then he turned and slipped through the crack in the door, vanishing into the quiet house.
Home. The scents wrap around me like a blanket, but I don't just belong to it. It belongs to me now.
Outside, the mouse lay on the doormat, a small, silent silhouette against the woven fibers. Oliver curled on the familiar rug, his belly full of wild meat, his claws still tasting the hunt, and the gift on the doorstep waited, a secret only the morning knew, ready to rewrite Sarah's understanding of her pet. Dawn broke over the cabin, and the hunter rose from his chair, drawn by a stillness outside. Through the glass, he saw the bobcat mother curled under his porch, her cub a small knot of fur beside her.
He sees us. Every muscle tells me to run, but my cub can't flee. Not yet.
He stepped onto the porch, boots stopping just short of the edge, and simply looked down.
His scent is close. My claws itch, but his eyes are not cruel. They are tired like mine.
The hunter studied her scrawny frame, the cub shivering, and something in his face shifted. Then he nodded. Once, and backed away, closing the door gently behind him.
He brought water, a bowl set just outside. No threat, no chase. What pact is this?
Ridge crept forward, drank deeply, and then backed into the shadows, her amber eyes fixed on the door. Through the window, the hunter watched her drink, and for the first time, the wild and the tame shared a silent, fragile truce. With both cats finally still, a quiet truth rises from the stories they lived through the night. Oliver bats a crumpled receipt across the floor. Ridge nudges her cub with a gentle paw. The impulse is identical. When a shadow moves, they both freeze, spine coiled, ears flat, a pulse pounding behind unblinking eyes. Oliver's long tail flicks with a twitch. Ridge's bobbed tail answers with the same sharp rhythm. They groom with the same ritual. A damp paw drawn across the ear, a slow blink, a private meditation. When the light fades, their pupils bloom into black moons, a hunter's aperture, identical in both worlds. Every purr, every pounce, every slow blink is written in the same ancient code, 8 million years untouched. Oliver stalks a dust mote like its prey. Ridge stalks a rabbit with the very same posture. The difference is not in their wiring. It's in the canvas, a human rug, or a forest floor. And now, with both safe, the lesson is clear. A house cat is a bobcat in miniature, still dreaming of its kingdom. But the real answer to why they look alike goes deeper than behavior, down to the very letters of their genetic code. Oliver and Ridge share 95% of their DNA, the same genetic manuscript, only a few chapters read differently. Their last common ancestor, Proaelurus, lived 8 million years ago. In that time, only a handful of genes sculpted the differences. 10,000 years is a single breath in evolution. That's all the domestication that separates a house cat from a bobcat. What changed in that blink? Ear tufts, a shortened tail, a slightly smaller skull. Surface edits on a blueprint that never really changed. But the core predatory arsenal, the reflex arc, the killing bite, the haunting focus, remains factory installed, untouched by time. That's why Oliver, who never hunted, could catch a mouse in a dark shed with a single, perfect pounce. And why Ridge, a wild creature, could press her cub against a hunter's porch and find a fragile piece. The code is shared. The expression is the only difference, and the resemblance is not a coincidence. It is a family heirloom. Now only one question remains. What happens when a human finds a dead mouse left like a signature on her doorstep? Sarah came downstairs in her robe, rubbing sleep from her eyes, and froze when she saw it.
A mouse on my doorstep. It's dead.
She knelt, touched the small body with a trembling finger, and then her eyes found the tiny punctures.
Oliver did this. My lazy, soft Oliver.
She moved to the couch, where Oliver lay curled, a faint rust-red staining the fur between his claws.
You really are a wild thing, aren't you?
He stirred, yawned, and a tiny pink tongue curled over fangs that still remembered the mouse.
She knows, and she's still here. That's all that matters.
Sarah didn't scold. She didn't tidy the gift away. She just sat, stroking his fur, seeing him for the first time. And in that quiet living room, a house cat and his human formed a new pact, built on the truth of the wild heart beating beneath the collar. In the living room, Oliver's purr rose and fell against Sarah's gentle strokes, a tiny engine of contentment. Under the porch, Ridge rumbled a deep, steady thrum. Her cub pressed to her flank, the sound older than memory. Two purrs, born in different worlds, vibrating at the same ancient frequency. Oliver had hunted. Ridge had trusted, and the world still turned, unbothered by their small, mighty revolutions. No door separated them now, no storm, just the same moon, tugging at the same blood in two different directions. One purr for a lap, another for a valley, but the same heart, beating the same rhythm of survival and love. And in that shared hum, the boundary between wild and tame dissolved into something simpler. Family. Sarah leaned back, feeling the pulse of a hunter beneath her palm, and smiled at the mystery she finally understood. In the forest, the hunter sat by his window, listening to the silence under his porch, and knew he was no longer alone. Fade to black, leaving only the echo of two purrs, woven into the fabric of a single shared world. The story may have faded, but its truth is still breathing in your own home. Next time your house cat stalks a shadow, watch the crouch, listen to the silence. Those eyes, dilated and fixed, are not just playing, they are rehearsing a million-year-old script. The bobcat is not a distant cousin. It is a mirror, slightly larger, more weathered, but unmistakably the same reflection. Every purr, every pounce, every gift of a dead mouse on a doormat is a signature from the wild. So look at your cat, really look, and see the bobcat curled inside, dreaming of a valley it has never seen but still remembers. The wild lives quietly in every living room, wearing a collar but never truly tamed. Thank you for watching this journey, and for seeing the kin in the kingdom next door. If this story gave you a new way to see your pet, share it with someone who needs to meet the bobcat in their own home. Until next time, may your shadows be full of gentle hunters.